Hey guys, the Portrait Art here. Remember a while back I made an FAQ video regarding the drawing tools that I use. More specifically, in there I talked about my self-made blending tool. Basically, the typical store-bought ones have, some issues and limitations. They are generally too hard and not great at blending mid to large areas. If you haven't seen my FAQ video yet, I highly encourage you to check it out by the link on the screen or in the description first. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to make my type of blending stump. And then perhaps, hopefully within the next video or two, I'll do a short, real-time drawing demonstration using the blending tool that we made in this video. I'm sure there are many ways to make your own blending stump. This is the way that I do it, and it is what I use in pretty much all my art videos to create the blending effect that you guys seem to enjoy. Alright, let's get started. There are really only three things you need for this, so it's pretty simple. One, tape. Two, scissors. And third one, which is going to be really hard to come by, is going to be newspaper or newsprint paper, which is really the same thing. I myself prefer newsprint paper because it looks neater, First step is just to really cut a strip of paper, a long strip of paper. The dimension of the strip is going to determine the final outcome. How long or how thick the blending stump is going to be. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to cut it. Oh yeah, and one end of the strip should be much wider than the other end. So for the sake of this demonstration, I want to make it one end maybe like 2 to 3 inches and the other end about 1 inch. And you can just fold it like this and then cut along the folded line. And you should end up with something that looks like this, a strip of paper, with one end that's longer than the other, that's wider than the other, technically. Okay, so now comes the most important part, rolling the paper. You want to start from the wider end, and you want to start it as solid as you can, because this part here is going to form the core and the center of the blending stump. So it's pretty important that you start out very finely and try to roll it as tight and as solid as you can. The direction of the rolling is obviously up, and you're trying to follow the center of the strip of paper as closely as you can. You can see how straight or how well you're doing by, the both sides should start showing this protruding, like domed shape as you're rolling. And once you get to the end, just tape off the center with a piece of tape and you are done. This is much softer and makes blending much easier. And characteristic of this blending stump is that at any time you can change its shape by just pulling on, one end, or poke the other end with like a sharp stick or something. As you can see, you can make one side much longer. Depends on what you want and what you need. You can just play around and see what works for you. I mean, you cannot really screw this up as long as you start with a very tight and solid center core as you're rolling the paper. It doesn't matter if you didn't roll it perfectly straight up, you'll still most likely end up with something that you can use. And here are the few that I have made in the past. And as you can see, some of these are not double-ended. Just the way you roll the paper, and some, like this guy here, I've been using for a while, it's kind of worn out. And the good thing about this type of paper stump is that it is very flexible in shape. As you can see, I can just like play around with it and just kind of transforms to, I can make it sharper, I can make one side more rounded. And another good thing about these softer ones are that the longer you use them, the softer they become, and the fuzzier they become. They actually become better at their job at blending. And lastly, I want to make a point is that with blending stumps, of course they are great at blending, charcoal. That's the whole point. There are also, just don't forget that they are also a tool for drawing on their own. Especially if you have like a dirty blending stump that you've been using for a while. You can actually just directly use it to put tones down and just draw on the paper. And often it actually, the result is a more smooth texture. So keep that in mind. And if you want to do really finely detailed blending, I still recommend the ones you buy from the store, like the small hard ones. Like if you want to blend an eyelash or something like that. And now I'm going to do a relatively speaking short real-time demonstration using one of these self-made blenders. I'll probably just draw like a small part of a portrait or something, with a bit of light commentary focusing mostly on the blending aspect. It's going to be a separate video, and once available you can find the link on the screen or in the description. So I hope you guys benefited from this video. Thanks again for watching. And, oh, and of course subscribe and all that if you haven't. And cheers!